Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we have another cautionary tale. And this video, I was inspired to do this video after watching this true crime documentary on YouTube, on True Crime Daily, or one of those channels. I'm obsessed with true crime. Don't ask me why. It's so interesting to, try to solve the mysteries. I've been this way for many, many years. But I was inspired to make this video because this young lady right here, this beautiful young lady, her name was Rhoni Reuter, and I was inspired to do this video because I want to remind all ladies out there that are in love, that think they're in love, that are settling, that we are responsible for our own well-being. Okay? We have to use discernment when it comes to our lives because your lives can be in danger based on who you are dealing with. So Rhoni was dating a man named Shaun Gayle, and this is who he is, or this is him on the right. This was her in her younger years, and according to the videos that I watched, she met him back in his football days. So Shaun Gayle was a Chicago Bears football player, and apparently he was very good back in the day, and you know what that means. The girls are always around when you are playing professional sports. And so based on some videos that I watched, I did some additional research before making this video, but based on what I've watched, she met him. Apparently they dated for like 17 years off and on, and she met him at an event, like a work event. And she met him, started dating, off and on relationship for 17 years, which is crazy to me. That's too much time from a young woman's precious life to give to somebody who, apparently he wasn't admitted or had admitted that he is a womanizer. He had a lot of ladies. And during the investigation of her murder, when she was found like in her purse or on her person was a list of 17 women, their first and last names, all of which he was dealing with, sleeping with. And so what happened with her? Okay, so Rhoni Reuter was 42 years old when she was gunned down by an unknown assailant. She was 7 months pregnant, and apparently Shaun Gayle was not happy about the pregnancy at first, but it is said that he started to like accept the pregnancy. He was buying things for the baby and getting ready for the delivery. She had 2 months to go. And so I don't know, they were not living together. So she was gunned down at her condo or apartment while she was leaving out for work. And she was shot 7 times, like 5 or 6 in her belly, and then a final shot to her head. And she nor the baby made it. They did not make it. Okay. Her family described her, Rhoni, that is the victim, as sweet, caring, beautiful. I think she was beautiful, of course. And somebody that everyone wanted to be around. They described her as a good friend and just a good person. But she got with the wrong guy, right? And there was so while they were trying to figure out who did this, right? They interviewed her partner or they dated, so I don't even know what to call him, but her baby's father, okay? Shaun Gayle, they interviewed him, and he was excluded. After their investigation, they were able to exclude him. He had a alibi, all these things. But during the investigation, they realized that, okay, he had an open relationship. Now, I'm not sure. Obviously, it had to be like, this is how I know she knew, right? I'll get to that in a second. But he said, he didn't do it, so they were able to exclude him. And then they interviewed one of the other girls. Like, there was a girl he was dealing with that confronted him about his womanizing and came to his place and got into a fight, or like what did she do? Her name was Monica something or other, and she says that she happened to be in his neighborhood. She drove by his neighborhood and saw that there was another lady at the house. So the Monica lady, this is not Monica, this is still the victim right here. She gets out of her car, knocks on the, she drives by the guy's house, Shaun Gayle. She sees that, she says she wants to stop by, but this is obviously like her stalking him, right? This is what it sounds like to me. I'm a woman. I've never done that, but this just sounds like that's what she was doing. So she drives by the house. She says she did not know that he was dating other women, and that she got out, confronted him, confronted her, and like broke glass in like his window, and I think she got arrested. And she said that was it for their relationship. So they interviewed her because they're like, hey, we're trying to figure this thing out. People said that you were violent and aggressive, so on and so forth. And they were able to exclude her. The other thing that they found during the investigation was that somebody was tracking or like spying on or stalking the Shaun Gayle dude from his devices. So like his computer, maybe his phone or whatever. And they were able to figure out that somebody was stalking him. And it ended up being one of his chicks that he was dealing with. So during their investigation, they uncovered that. Obviously, they interview everybody that they think might be involved. They interviewed somebody. They called 911 because he said that, I heard there was some shots going on and da-da-da, and I'm concerned because my friend lives in the area, da-da-da. So the cops interviewed that person. He was a suspect, but he was excluded. And so then what happens is they come across one lady by the name of Marnie Yang. And so this, ladies and gentlemen, is Marty Yang. She was interviewed a few different times. Her name came up as one of the women that he was dealing with. And of course, they interviewed her, and she had a photographer friend who described her as like somebody that was addicted to sex and that she liked sex. Nothing wrong with that, right? But if you're addicted to it and stuff like that. And I think she was married or something like that, but she was a fitness model and apparently loved to date cops, and apparently she would go to the station and really learn about how to get away with a crime. Okay, how to get away with a crime. And she was obsessed with Shaun Gayle. So I'm just going to go ahead and spill the tea. So she was the one who was stalking his like devices, who put something in something. I can't even remember the terminology, and I will leave the link to the actual Crime Watch daily video or investigation on this crime. She was stalking this man. She got a list of all of the women, all 17 or so women that he was sleeping with or had a relationship with, past, present, whatever. She paid for like background checks for all these women. And her excuse was, yeah, because if I'm going to be around him, then I need to know who you're dealing with. Da, da, da. She had kids as well. She had like 3 kids. So, the cops are investigating her, and they just uncover all of this evidence. She rented a car that was delivered to her best friend's house. Said car was seen, the car that was seen driving away from the scene of the crime. And this was done in the morning too. Like I said earlier in the video, the victim was going to work when she was gunned down. She was leaving her house in the morning. So there was cameras that showed this car peeling off, a black car. And when she rented the car dealership gave her like a blue car at first, and she took it back and said, hey, I need a black car. She rents this car, has it delivered to her best friend's house. Her best friend ends up like ratting her out as well, but she had all of the excuses in the world for why she had a rental car, why she was also seen on camera buying items to learn how to make a silencer. There was a book that she had that detailed how to make a silencer, and when she was questioned about that, she said that it was a gag gift for like one of her cop friends. So as you can kind of figure out, they were able to understand that this was they suspected her, so they had to build their file on her, right? their investigation on, build their case against this woman right here. So her best friend that accepted the rental car that was the getaway car, was interviewed by cops, and they were tapping the phones, right? And so they heard the conversations that were incriminating, and they confront her best friend, and they're like, "Hey, we hear this stuff going on, da 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 da." Her best friend ends up cutting a deal and ends up wearing a wire to, get her to confess. And so she made a deal with the cops that if she helps them out, the detectives rather, that if she helps them out, she will not be in trouble for her knowledge in it. So what I gathered listening to the recorded conversations is that Marnie Yang was like talking about doing this crime, committing this crime against this innocent woman, who, and her unborn child, and her friend says, "Hey, well, if I don't believe you, but if you really do it, call me." And the code word or saying is, "Would you like to go to dinner?" And so the detectives are like, "Hey, you're gonna go to jail or prison rather, if you don't, help us nail her." So, why her friend did not talk her out of it? Like, it is not worth it. Why would you want to harm this girl? She's pregnant. She doesn't know you. She's just as much as the victim, da 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 da, as you. You guys are fighting over, this is what you call a dusty with money. And I'm going to tell you why I feel this way. I don't really use the term dusty, but I'm using this term because that's what the internet calls it, right? Not every man that's successful on paper in terms of his resume is a good man to be involved with, because stuff like this can happen. Women are crazy. So anyways, she admits to the crime. She admits to where the gun is, or to what she did with the weapon. And so she ends up getting arrested. She's tried, and I can't remember how many years she got. But she apparently won the opportunity to have a new trial based on a fingerprint that was found at the crime scene that is supposedly the actual real killer. But she literally was caught on tape admitting to the crime, admitting to how she destroyed or hid the weapon, etc. And so at the end of the trial, when she was sentenced to whatever, I can't remember what she was sentenced to, but she's in prison at this time. And so what inspired me to make this video, y'all, is that the man, Shaun Gayle, said, "If I had given her the relationship she wanted, this wouldn't have happened." Talking about Rhoni. It's heartbreaking because, she knew, according to the stories I watched, she knew what the deal was, right? Which a lot of women sign up for stuff like this. But what I feel women need to think about is the other ladies that these guys are dealing with. Women are crazy. Women can be crazy and unhinged, especially behind some penis. Like, why the hell is this lady searching all these ladies, like, just being a true stalker, extremely obsessed with this man? Oh, and then also when I was watching, apparently the night before, this girl on the left had some wild sex with Shaun Gayle the night before the murder, which is extremely selfish. And so now, after the mother of your child is gunned down by one of your other hoes, now obviously guilt, if he had given her the relationship she wanted, this wouldn't have happened. When you are dealing with a man, if you have to compete with any woman, you are in the wrong situation. There is no man worth this. There's no man worth harming another human being or child. There's no man worth sharing penis. Like, it's not, there is no penis that good. Like, I'm sorry. So the moral of the story is that you have to be responsible for your own well-being. I was in a situation one time where like I was dating somebody and his baby's mother or girlfriend or whatever is unclear was like knocking at the door for 45 minutes. Homegirl was on her lunch break, okay? Because after 45 minutes, she had to roll out. But I also was like, you need to call the police, and I was concerned. And, that it didn't work out because it was just like too, obviously, that's very messy. And there's no excuse for that. Women do not do stuff like that unless they're sleeping with that person. You know what I mean? Because I was a baby mama once in my life, right? And I would never just show up at that man's house ever. Ever. Like, who does that? Women that are unhinged or women that are being cheated on and did not know that they were not, that's how that happens. And I wanted no parts of it. And that was it for that situation. So you have to understand that women are crazy. If a man is not able to commit to you for whatever reason, then you just need to let that go. Your number one priority is your safety and your happiness. And that is your responsibility to make sure you are safe and happy and loved and supported. And, like this is just unacceptable. And it's so sad because this young lady was 42 when she died at the hands of some unhinged chick who was sharing the same D and was mad about it. Let this cannot be you. Let this be a cautionary tale. Rest in peace to Rhoni and her unborn baby. They were going to name the baby Skylar. So I'll link the more detailed story beneath this video. Let me know your thoughts on the story. And, have you ever been in a situation where you're like in a love triangle and it got crazy? Let me know in the comments below. I'll see you in the next video.